Welcome to the Nerf Report. My name is Brian Chappelle, and this week was insanely busy for gaming, geek, and nerd news. Literally, at one point, I was like, why is everyone in the world debuting brand new video games this week? The show can only be so long. Which are words that I never really thought I'd ever utter. But besides the fact, on this week's episode, we look into Wolverine's brand new podcast. PlayStation announces that they have sold 70 million PlayStation 4s. The Gaming Awards gave us so much awesomeness, and you better believe we're diving headfirst into that. PSX gave PlayStation fans a ton of stuff to look forward to for the upcoming next year. And finally, this guy, I think it's safe to say, has won the most innovative streamer of the year. All of this and much, much more on this week's episode of the Nerf Report.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
This week marked the 4th annual Video Game Awards in Los Angeles, California, and it was so awesome. The Game Awards are ran by Jeff Keighley, who worked on the Spike Video Game Awards that ran for 10 years prior to the current Video Game Awards. The Video Game Awards were created to celebrate the gaming industry and its achievements throughout the previous year. And this year's show had so many memorable moments, from Zachary Levi paying a microtransaction so he can announce the best action game of the year.
And the game award goes to, oh man, I have to pay a microtransaction to unlock.
To Joseph Ferris's unscripted, passionate speech.
Like, if you play the game from the beginning to the end, and you see what it is, it's impossible you don't like it.
Okay.
Doing, you know?
And it's coming soon, right?
Yeah, it's coming. I'm talking too long.
That's
Let
okay.
me talk a little
It's
bit.
like, no, it's like we
I love this! Come on!
And the night featured plenty of well-deserved winners as well. Gaming Personality of the Year was awarded to Dr. Disrespect. Cuphead won Best Art Direction, Best Debut Indie Game, and Best Independent Game. Persona 5 won Best Role-Playing Game. Nier Automata won Best Score. The Last of Us 2 won the Most Anticipated Game of the Year. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice won Best Audio Design and the Games with Impact Award, with Melina Juergens winning Best Performance for her role in Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. And to Melina's credit, she showed up in her mocap suit and admitted that this was her first acting gig. Congratulations to all the winners, but of course this brings us to the big daddy of the show, the most coveted award of the year, the Video Game of the Year Award. And after months of campaigning, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year. The Game Awards also featured plenty of world premiere trailers for games like Campo Santo's brand new video game, Valley of the Gods. Epic Games revealed a brand new 50v50 mode for Fortnite Battle Royale. Bayonetta 3 is coming to the Switch as a Switch exclusive. Zelda Breath of the Wild's brand new DLC, Ballad of the Champions, had its world debut. Sea of Thieves got a release date of March 20th. 10 Chambers revealed their new game, GTFO. And we got our first look at PUBG's new map, plus the 1.0 update for PlayerUnknown. In other gaming news, we currently live in a world where gaming graphics keep getting better and better, and we literally have to have that conversation of, is it real or is it a game? Well, a Twitch streamer by the name of Lester Gaming took full advantage of the gaming's graphic improvements by live streaming UFC 218 and pretending that he was actually playing the pay-per-view. That's right, Lester is right there sitting in the corner streaming the Aldo Holloway fight, all the while holding the controller, acting like he's controlling the fighters. I wonder if he was playing as Aldo or Holloway. Like, did he really think about this? Like, I'm going to play the game and I'm going to pretend to be Aldo, so I'm going to block Holloway's kicks. Or, I mean, you literally cannot write this. And as you can imagine, Lester Gaming rose to the top of internet fame after a clip from his live stream was tweeted and then retweeted 63,000 times and liked 140,000 times. On a quick video update on Lester's YouTube channel, he did confirm that following the stream, he was banned from Twitch for 24 hours. He gained 3,000 followers on Twitch, 3,000 Twitter followers, and a couple hundred subscribers on YouTube. And Lester did admit that he didn't think that this was going to be this crazy of a response from him live streaming a UFC pay-per-view and pretending to play it. He is worried that there could be a lawsuit coming, but he has not heard anything yet. But if I was in charge of the UFC, so Dana White, listen closely, I would embrace this. We are so close to that moment in gaming where video game graphics look so real. And if you really want to sell copies of UFC 3, I think a golden egg was literally laid on your doorstep. Your new marketing campaign should be Lester playing your game as if it was a pay-per-view. And just use the tagline, "So real, it looks like the real thing." In Marvel news this week, it was announced that we are getting a 10-episode mystery serial-esque podcast that centers around the life of Logan. Or if you're not a comic book fan, that's Wolverine. According to Variety.com, the 10-episode series follows agents Sally Pierce and Tad Marshall as they arrive in the fictional town of Burns, Alaska, to investigate a series of murders and quickly discovers the town lives in fear of a serial killer. The agents team up with Deputy Bobby Reed to investigate their main suspect, Logan. Their search leads them on a fox hunt through the mysterious and corrupt town. The podcast will be titled Wolverine: The Long Night and will be launching spring of 2018, exclusively airing on the Stitcher Premium platform. Also this week, it was announced that Sony's PlayStation 4 has hit some exciting milestones. As of December 3rd of 2017, the PlayStation 4 has sold 70.6 million units worldwide, and more than 618 million copies of PlayStation 4 games. The PlayStation VR has sold 2 million units, with over 150 titles being available for the PlayStation VR, with 12.2 million VR games sold worldwide. 70 million units, of course, is up from the 2016 number of 50 million units, which means the PlayStation 4 has been sold 20 million times in the last 12 months. So the big question here is, where does that put the PlayStation 4 on the history of PlayStations? Well, we got you covered. 4 years into the PlayStation 4's life cycle, and it has sold 70.6 million units. The PlayStation 1 sold 102 million units in its 11-year life cycle. The PlayStation 2 sold 155 million units in its 13-year life cycle, and the PlayStation 3 sold 80 million units in its 11-year life cycle. Now, I want to preface this next part by saying that I really don't think the PlayStation 4 is going to last 11 years as a life cycle. I think we'll have a new console quicker than ever before. But with the current track of unit sales, if it does go 11 years, the PlayStation 4 could see itself selling 192 million units worldwide. It's incredible. But I understand not everybody's a PlayStation fan, so you're probably asking, what does this do to the console war? Well, here we go. At its current state, the Xbox One has sold an estimated 31 million units, and the Nintendo Switch has sold 8 million units in its first year. However, to be fair to Nintendo, wow, never thought I would ever say those words. In PlayStation's first year, they sold 14 million units, Xbox sold 10 million units, and 9 months into the first year of the Nintendo Switch, it's sitting at 8 million units. In other PlayStation news, Sony held PSX, or the PlayStation Experience, this week in Los Angeles, California. The two-day event featured developer interviews and panels, along with the opportunity for PlayStation fans to get their hands on some of the most anticipated games coming to the PlayStation 4. In previous years, Sony has used the PlayStation Experience as an opportunity to announce games that they maybe don't have the time to announce at E3. But unfortunately for this year, PlayStation seemed to announce everything at Paris Games Week. But that being said, Sony still did have a lot of awesome announcements when it came to games coming to the PlayStation 4. Sony announced games like Killing Floor Incursion, a medieval remake, Wipeout VR, The Forest, Horizon Chase Turbo, Flipping Death Malacca, Loco Roco 2, Tower 57, Shooty Fruity, Knockout League, and 20XX are all coming to the PlayStation 4. Sony also gave fans an extended look at some of the most highly anticipated first-party exclusives coming to the PlayStation 4. Sucker Punch dove into what inspired their upcoming samurai game, Ghost of Tsushima. Media Molecule's Dream sounds like every programmer and game designer's dream. Sony Santa Monica presented God of War and gave us a look at gameplay. Quantic Dream held an audience-participated demo of Detroit Become Human. And then we had the Last of Us 2 panel. Candidly speaking, I wasn't able to attend PSX this year due to travel schedules and trying to get my schedule to work properly. Couldn't do it, but when I heard that they debuted Last of Us 2 footage at Paris Games Week, I knew that PSX was going to be the mecca for Last of Us fans. And boy, did I miss such a good panel. The Last of Us 2 panel kicked off with a musical duet by Troy Baker, who plays Joel, and Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie. It was so eerie, ominous, and it perfectly fit the game's genre. During the Last of Us panel, Neil Druckmann, the director of Last of Us 2, was asked, "Are Ellie and Joel safe, or could they die?" To which Neil Druckmann said, "No one is safe. Not even Joel and Ellie." And when pressed on how far into production is Naughty Dog on Last of Us 2, Neil had this to say: "We handed off a bunch of levels. We're like 50 to 60%. I don't know how far. Meaning we're still probably looking late 2019, early 2020 before we even get this game." Quick side note, if you have not played Last of Us yet, please do yourself a favor and pick up this game. I say this every single time when I am asked what is my favorite game. The Last of Us, in my opinion, is the greatest game ever made. And it's also such a great game for a non-gamer to play and understand how good games can be. And finally for this week, every single episode of the Nerf Report, there is tons of news that never makes it into that week's show. Simply for the reason that if I took all of the news and put it into one episode, we'd be looking at a 40-minute episode, and who really has the time to watch that? With that in mind, we have a brand new segment called Nerfed in 60 Seconds, where we take the remaining news from the week and try to cover as much as possible in 60 seconds. So, with that, let's put 60 seconds on the clock and go. Capcom announced this week that Mega Man 11 is coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch in the year of 2018. Overwatch unveiled brand new Pro League in-game skins, which means players from around the world can represent their favorite esports teams. Legendary Entertainment announced that Ryan Reynolds will be voicing Detective Pikachu, which really Deadpool doesn't seem to belong in the Pokemon universe. Ubisoft announced that they are delaying 3 of their upcoming games to focus on quality instead of rushing games to market. What a valid concept! Pokemon Go announced that 50 brand new Pokemon are coming, marking the arrival of Generation 3 Pokemon for trainers around the world. Zombie parkour game Dying Light introduced a brand new 6-player PvP mode called Bad Blood. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom introduced its trailer, Square Enix introduced a new Tomb Raider game, and PUBG vows never to pay to play. I think we covered it all. With that, that is it for this week's episode of the Nerf Report. If you like what you saw, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, but please, more importantly, share it with your friends. As always, my name is Bryant Chappelle, you are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching.